guess what? We grew pumpkins. We didn't plan to, but we had put some pumpkin seed in these pumpkins that we carved. And I think some seeds fell out of the carving and just took root and started growing. So we had 10-foot vines growing in our front yard. And eventually we ended up having 2 nice big field pumpkins. They were ready the last week of August, so cut them up and brought them inside. We took pictures, of course, all through the journey of these growing pumpkins. And of course, I decided that these needed to go in the journal. I think anybody who knows me knows how much I love pumpkins. And not Halloween per se, because I can't watch a scary movie to save my life. But the coziness of the pumpkin and starting all of the warm family gathering months. It's also the best color because it's not bright like the sun shining in your face, but it's warm and subtle. Makes you feel nice inside. Okay, so enough about my love for pumpkins. Getting to this journal page, I just wanted to draw these pumpkins. I mean, journaling, I love journaling, but I just love drawing. I love painting. If I could just paint all day, that would be amazing. But alas, I have 2 children that need my attention. But anyways, I figured let's draw these pumpkins. So I have these Uli markers that I picked up from their warehouse sale. And they're just alcohol-based markers. Pulled them out. I had this little swatch sheet that I've been working off of. And I just went in. So I didn't sketch anything out. I just kind of wanted it to be more rough, just drawn on a whim. Plus a pumpkin is pretty easy, I would say, to draw. You just kind of go in with an orange circle and then add some detail in there. I was in awe watching these pumpkins grow. We have fruit trees in the bag, and we've grown things like tomatoes and strawberries and just stuff that doesn't take up so much space. But when these sprouted and then took over like 10 feet of our front yard, it was insane, but like so cool at the same time. There was just like flower after flower. And then we found out that there's male flowers and female flowers, and they needed to be pollinated or cross-pollinated. And that's the way like a female flower actually gets fertilized to grow a pumpkin. And it was amazing. I don't know if I had more fun or the kids had more fun or my husband had more fun. I don't know. Everybody was just so into these pumpkins. Okay, so back to the journal. I did want to put the pictures behind the pumpkin drawings. That way we can have kind of like a flip book. But I did need to find something to put on the back of these because they just looked horrendous in the back. So I just got some orange construction paper that was actually left over from a project from Zazzy's TK class. I just glued that on. I just glued it on and voila. Oh, wait, no, not voila. You needed to cut it out because that looks kind of janky. So just cut that out, glued it on the bottom there. It took a minute to kind of figure out how to bend it and make it flip the way that I wanted to. So here you could see me doing a little bit of that measuring out, making sure that's nice and flat. And then just figuring out how to put Elliot's picture on there. So Elliot, actually, he's the oldest, so he got choice of first pumpkin. He went ahead and picked the biggest one. This one was actually more in the shade than it was in the sun. So it actually had a darker orange hue to it. And then the one that was in the sun was lighter and brighter. What a surprise. So Zazzy got the other one, the one that was lighter and brighter. Side note, my hands were so sticky, but that is the craft life. But they were about the same. They were both pretty big, about 15 to 16 inches tall. And they both had a circumference of over 30 inches. I think Elliot's was like 36 and Zazzy's was 33. So definitely some big pumpkins. Elliot was able to pick his up, but Zazzy, she couldn't. It was too big for her. So they're excited. They're now in our living room sitting next to our TV, and we're hoping and praying that they last until October so the kids can go ahead and carve them. Once I glued on that bottom one, it was pretty simple. I just grabbed another corner piece, drew another pumpkin, and finished that up really quickly so that I can go ahead and glue this photo of Zazie sitting on her pumpkin. And that was that for the top. Now to decide where I was going to actually put my writing, decided that I wanted to put the title in between the two pumpkins when the pumpkins were closed. And so the writing would go right under the pumpkins. So just drew out the lines, my colored lines that I like to draw, just to kind of lay out and block that area. I actually had a page already done on the other side, so my lines were coming out so bumpy, but it still worked. It was cute. And then I just went back, I closed up these flaps, and I just decided that I was going to go in with "We Grew Pumpkins" really big, because that is the theme. So just quickly took these markers that I mentioned in the last video, this Matte Hop by Pentel. These are great. I love them, and they just flow really well. So just went in with these, and really simple, just made this little title. So loved it. I loved how it turned out, and just went ahead and finished it up. So once I finished up the title and everything was dried, because you do need to give a minute for these pens to dry up a little bit, just went back in and filled up the writing lines with just a few fun facts, just things that, I don't know, just thoughts that I had about the pumpkins. So went ahead and did that. Also put in the measurements of the pumpkins so that the kids would remember. They can always look back and remember the first time that we grew pumpkins. Also, last fun fact, these were actually field pumpkins. So they're completely edible. Of course, you can't eat them, but they aren't as sweet. So we decided that we would keep them for carving, but we did go ahead and plant some sweet, small pumpkin seeds. So hoping that those will grow and we'll have some other small pumpkins as well. But that's it. That wraps it up, complete with pumpkin flaps in my traveler's notebook. But I just loved how this one turned out, and the kids loved it too. They kept looking at it, so they were super excited. And that's a wrap. So I probably said pumpkin like 50 times or 150 times or 250 times, but thanks for watching. One last little quick peek at our vines that grew like crazy, and the little baby pumpkin, and then the full pumpkin. Thanks. See you next time. Bye.